I wanted to thank you for taking time to speak with me today.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, everyone listening and watching. I'm Enrico from Expiatoria, heavy metal band from Italy.
And a history of three acts is a celebration, and it should be celebrated. You've had an amazing career. Yes.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, and through the years, now that you're heading toward your 40th year, I wanted to ask you, what has been some of the moments that really stick out for you?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I joined the band 4 years ago, and since then I've been responsible for many things, including like talking to press like you, and basically rebuilding somehow I wouldn't say reputation because it's always been there, but the online presence of the band.
Hmm.
Um, So definitely, if I have to look back at the way we developed the idea of a history in three acts, the goal was to showcase all the main points of the history of the band, of the story of the band. Because one of the things we've been asked frequently is, yeah, 40 years of career, just one album. How come? But those were the times. So the band was founded in 1987. I was 1 year old back then, so no chance to join Expiatoria, sadly. And so basically, until say the beginning of the 90s, they were in that common phase of bands with no funding, probably not enough motivation and all of that, and then family issues took over and stuff. So they split after doing two demo tapes, which
Hmm.
were, by the way, well received and also somehow famous in the Italian underground. And after that, there's been one reunion in 2010 with only like two founding members, not even the full lineup. And after that, since 2018, we came back together. And since then, it's like the third reunion. That's why we call it the History in Three Acts, because it's been 40 years, yeah, ups and downs,
Sure.
history of metal and of all art is full of not so linear paths, let's call it so. And Expiatoria definitely is one of them. So lots of passion, lots of love for music. They've not always been able to put everything they wanted into it, but now is the time.
And looking back and listening to this album, one thing I kept reading over and over when I was researching the band was this is a band that you have to see live. Can you tell me about the live experience with the band?
Oh, that's interesting. Thanks for that. So the live experience, since Expiatoria draws a lot from acts like King Diamond and Merciful Fate, well, that should be telling enough,
Mhm.
right?
Sure.
So the whole theatrical aspect and the entertainment part of it, it's very important for us. So everything is pretty much do it yourself in terms of props and what we do. The energy is quite intense, and I played in other bands and I still play in other bands, and I have to tell you, these guys have an energy live which is really unprecedented, I have to say. So you really see that they put 200% of what they have on stage. So that's one part of the live aspect.
Mm.
The other part goes to what I was mentioning before. So all the theatrical part and inventing stories and coming up with something that is catchy for the eye, not only for what you listen to. Eventually what you do when you put on a show is a show, right? It's not
Sure.
just music. So, and I had this realization. We played last Saturday at Lupol and Rock Festival. It's a major festival right now in Italy. On the same day we had Udo from Accept, we had Stratovarius, we had Crimson Glory, and all the good stuff. And that's when I realized, okay, we are actually putting on a show. It's not just
Mhm.
music. So you
Yes.
really need to give something extra to the audience because, I mean, especially classic heavy metal doom, but a lot of metal, right? It's been already heard. It's not like you are inventing something, mind blowing per se. So you have to become different some other way. And we like that aspect of the show. Another band that had a massive influence, especially in the early days, was Def SS. It's a very cult band from Italy. They started in the 70s, and they were really doing crazy shit back then in terms of being theatrical
Mm.
and putting a show together. Still to this day. So back then it was really a big influence on Expiatoria. So yeah, definitely. If you can, come and catch us live, because that's where we give 200% of what we have.
And on this album is an ad track, The Incredible Worm Man. I wanted to ask you, is this a hint of a new album coming out?
Yeah, that's part of the new album. So the new album will be hopefully next year or the year after. Let's see what happens now, because we are being all of us in our 40s plus. It's not always easy to, manage to put everything together in personal life and the will to tour and do more. So we want to play a bit more like live shows. And so that might mean the album is coming later on. But what I can tell you about the album is that so in A History in Three Acts, we have 5 songs, other than so 4 old songs,
Sure.
and they cover pretty much a wide range of styles of Expiatoria. We go from, so the first one, it's basically speed metal, let's put it this way, Underground Forever. Then we have a doom ballad. Then we have a song which sounds like King Diamond meets Dream Theater
Yes.
somehow. And another one is more doomy, like more from our debut album. So we have a quite, well, within heavy metal, quite different types of metal. Let's put it this way. The new one will be more towards classical heavy metal, not new wave off necessarily, but it's a mix of, again, King Diamond, Merciful Fate, plus some slower parts. So another big influence has been Paradise Lost.
Yes.
So those melodical, slow, parts you can sing along to all the time, and they keep getting stuck in your head. So we have a lot of those moments too. So yeah, that will be the new album, and we are talking about probably 6, 8 songs, which for a heavy doom band will be pretty, quite a
Absolutely.
long album. Yeah. So let's see what happens.
And gain these tracks together for this album. Was it hard to choose?
Oh, it was, yes. Because so basically the lineup of Expiatoria has 2 brothers, and they are Massimo and GB. They are guitar and bass player, and they've been on all lineups, right? And each one
Mhm.
of them has their favorites. And if we wanted to, kind of make them happy, we would have to replay the whole, all the demos, all the EPs, all
Sure.
of that. So at one point, I think they decided these were songs that kind of, made it to the top 4 or 5.
Hmm.
We as a band agreed on that, and we said, yeah, let's relearn them from scratch. So if you go back, so there are these demos on YouTube. Of course, quality is, imagine like a tape from
Right. Sure.
87 plus all the YouTube compression and all of that, but you get a fair understanding of what they were back then. But we just took that as a base to build on that. So all the arrangements, all the execution and all of that, it's 100% current time Expiatoria.
And in speaking with the original members, I wanted to ask you if they had vocalized with you what the mission was from the very start for the band.
Interesting one. Yeah. So I think their mission was, like many metalheads back then, to just imitate their heroes, right? So they
Hmm.
looked up at Candlemas, at King Diamond. I think one of them, I remember when we did the new rehearsal place, the room, he showed the ticket, like the, how to say, the King Diamond
Yes.
member from the 1987, I think, when Abigail or them came out. So they were real nerds of that. They like you how to say, there are not that many in this city in Genova, which has a lot of musicians, but they were like the King Diamonds of the city, and they really
Sure.
want to be seen and perceived as that. And in general, it's just the drive to put on a good show, play heavy metal. So there is no mission as, political or anything like
Mm.
that. It's pure entertainment and the joy of, playing heavy metal with your friends.
I was lucky and fortunate enough to be in high school when Merciful Fate's first album came out,
Wow.
and to hear that first album, the first thing that really stuck with you is how tight that band was.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, every now and then some, old video resurfaces in YouTube. Of course, they're always there, but every now and then they become hype again. And one guy, exactly like you just did, Robert, was, seeing them live in like 82, 83 was incredible because, of course, let's keep in mind that these bands were playing like in their practice room 4 or 5 times a week.
sure.
So, I mean, as expiatory, I think we are somehow privileged that we live in the same city and we see each other once a week. Because now you have bands going to play live where they just learn the songs and they meet on stage or the day before,
Sure.
which fair enough. Everyone, has their way of doing. We like, we managed to find this way of meeting regularly. And I think, this album we just did, A History in Three Acts, is a result of that as well. The
Yes.
joy of playing together. Every now and then you somehow when you play, you make a mistake, and that can become a nice arrangement. So
Yes,
it's not always,
absolutely.
you have some nice turning points that you didn't expect. So we take it as a nice experience for everyone. And I can imagine what it was like to see Merciful Fate back then.
It's absolutely amazing. And you know, I was drawn when the first album came out. I was just totally drawn to the band. Sherman's guitar playing was just smacked you right in the face
Wow. Where was that?
in Cleveland.
Okay. Wow. Must have been amazing indeed.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Actually, me and the guys met one day when Merciful Fate did the reunion show in Italy in 2022, and we met there. And that's when I entered the band somehow.
Wow.
So, this Merciful Fate King Diamond thing is, like it or not, is everywhere for us.
Absolutely. And I wanted to ask you, in moving forward, what does the future hold for you? Like after this album is released, do you plan to tour?
Yeah, we're doing a few gigs now. We have one at the end of August, another one mid-September, and then another one mid-October with a band. I don't know if you've heard of them. They are now becoming extremely big in Italy and also elsewhere. They did Hellfest this year in France. I'm not sure they did Wacken already, but they are, in the list. The band is called Ponte del Diavolo.
Ah,
It's a nice mix of black metal, post-wave. It's really unique. They have a lady singing, Elena. She's amazing. Very, very distinctive sound. And to, be able to have such a unique sound nowadays,
mhm,
it's really, really, really cool. We're
absolutely.
doing a gig with them, and then, as I said, we are in the process of basically scouting other dates and see what happens. So yeah, the dream would be to do a tour. We did 4 dates in a row, which for all the reasons I mentioned was like complex to arrange and also
Sure.
nice to do because especially for the founders, right? They've been in the
Yes,
backline for behind the scenes kind of thing for years, and now it's the time to actually do as much as we can. So yeah, definitely there are plans to do tours.
that is great. And I wanted to ask you, now that this album is out, what is the best way to get a physical copy of this album and any merchandise that you have?
So best way will be Bandcamp. I don't know how that works with US shipping and stuff, but surely we can figure it out. We had some orders over there as well. We have t-shirts, we have the CDs, albums, all the good stuff.
Excellent. And lastly, my friend, I wanted to ask you if you could give a message to your fans, what message would you give them?
To who? Sorry, to?
To your fans, if you could give a message to them, what message would you give them?
I would thank each and every one of them for sticking with us and keep following us because there are more cool surprises. If you like Expiatoria, you'll surely like what's coming next. If you want to take a glance at what the show looks like, there are a lot of videos on YouTube. We're gonna publish the one we just did at the Lupolo and Rock in the coming weeks. So just a heartfelt thank you very much. And all of this is a privilege for us. We are a heavy metal band from Italy, like there are millions, and for having people that check us out and listen to our music is a privilege. So we are very blessed.
Well, I
Thank
wanted
you.
to thank you for creating an amazing album that made me a part of the journey. I couldn't wait to go back and research your past catalog, because it really, I felt like I had missed out on something that was very special when I heard this album.
Thanks.
And it's been a joy to go back and listen to it. And I hope to see you live one day, my friend.
Why not? It would be amazing to come over there.
Well, thank you again for taking time to speak with me. And
Thanks,
please
Rob.
keep in touch, my friends.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Cheers.
Cheers.